जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदा ब्रजजन रंजन जमुना तीरावनचारी मुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी 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 माधव कुंज विहारी। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत His Divine Grace Bhakti सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 1, entitled Questions by Vidura, text number 13. You can repeat after me. Saesha dosha purusha dvidaste gruhan pravisto yamapatyamatya pushnasi Krishna dvimukho gatashrisa त्यजा स्वसेवं कुलकौशलाय स एष दोष पुरुष द्विडास्ते गृहान् प्रविष्टो यं पत्यमत्य पुष्णासि कृष्णा द्विमुखो गतश्री Taja Svashaivam Kulakaushalaya Saesha Dosha Purusha Dvidaste Gruhan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Pushnashi Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashevam Kulakaushalaya Pushna Shri Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashevam Kulakaushalaya Saesha Dosha Purusha Dvidaste Gruhan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Pushna Shri Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashaivam Kulakaushalaya Saesha Dosha Purusha Dvidaste Gruhan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Krishna Shri Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashaivam Kulakaushalaya Matajis Saesha Dosha Purusha Dvidaste Gruhan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Krishna Shri Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashaivam Kulakaushalaya Saesha Dosha Purusha Dvidaste Gruhan Pravishto Yamapatyamatya Krishna Shri Krishna Dvimukho Gatashri Taja Svashaivam Kulakaushalaya. Word to word translation. Saha, he, Esha, this, dosha, offense. Dosha means offense personified. Purushadvit, envious of Lord Krishna. Aste, exists. Grihan, household. Pravishta, entered. Yam, home. Apatya, you can repeat. Apatyamatya, thinking to be your son. Pushnashi, maintaining. Krishnat, from Krishna. Vimukha, in opposition. Gatashri, devoid of everything auspicious. Tyaja, give up. Asu, as soon as possible. Ashevam, inauspicious. Kula, family. Kaushalaya, for the sake of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. You are maintaining offense personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. A good son is called apatya, one who does not allow his father to fall down. The son can protect the father's soul when the father is dead by offering sacrifice to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. This system is still prevalent in India. After the death of his father, a son goes to offer sacrifice at the lotus feet of Vishnu at Gaya and thus delivers the father's soul if the father is fallen. But if the son is already an enemy of Vishnu, how in such an inimical mood can he offer sacrifice unto Lord Vishnu's lotus feet? Lord Krishna is directly the personality of Godhead Vishnu, and Duryodhana was inimical to him. He would therefore be unable to protect his father, Dhritarashtra. After his death, he himself was to fall down because of his faithlessness towards Vishnu. How then could he protect his father? Vidura advised Dhritarashtra to get rid of such an unworthy son as Duryodhana as soon as possible if he was at all anxious to see the good of his family. According to the moral instruction of Chanakya Pandit, what is the use of a son who is neither a learned man nor a devotee of the Lord? If a son is not a devotee of the Supreme Lord, he is just like a blind eye, a source of trouble. A physician may sometimes advise the extrication of such useless eyes from their sockets so that one can be relieved of the constant trouble. Duryodhana was exactly like blind, troubling eyes. He would be a source of great trouble to the family of Dhritarashtra, as foreseen by Vidura. Vidura therefore rightly advised his elder brother to get rid of this source of trouble. Dhritarashtra was wrongly maintaining such personified offense under the mistaken impression that Duryodhana was a good son, able to liberate his father. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaiham Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savadetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading translation one more time. You are maintaining offense personified Duryodhana as your infallible son, but he is envious of Lord Krishna, and because you are thus maintaining a non-devotee of Krishna, you are devoid of all auspicious qualities. Relieve yourself of this ill fortune as soon as possible and do good to the whole family. First of all, I am very grateful to the temple authorities and the temple management for giving me this opportunity. Honestly speaking, I am not at all qualified to be sitting on this esteemed Vyasasan and speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam, but it is the kindness of the devotee who are helping me to study Srimad Bhagavatam and share whatever I have learned for myself. So if anything that I'm going to speak today is definitely, I'm just trying to preach to myself or telling myself. If at all it's helping you, then it will be success of whatever I have prepared. And before I start, I seek blessings of my senior God brothers and God sisters assembled here or hearing online. Please bless me so that I can speak something which will be beneficial to all the devotees. Hare Krishna. So we can see here that in this particular chapter, questioned by Vidura, where several things has happened, where in the Mahabharata, what are the different things happened that is being described earlier, and then finally Vidura is being called for consultation that what should be done, what should we do now. And Vidura has been advising that now you should give back the kingdom, which was definitely, the Yudhishthira is the right heir of it, so you should give it back. And in today's verse, as we see, he's personally telling Dhritarashtra that please give up your son Duryodhan, because he will destroy your entire dynasty. And not just to do a good to yourself and a good to your family, it is worth giving up this particular son. So one may wonder that what kind of instruction is this to give up a son? Chahe kaisa bhi ho, mera ladka hai, is my own son. You are asking me to give up my own son? So it is understood and it is shared by all the wise people that for the welfare of the family, the individual interest has to be given up. For the welfare of the society, the interest of the family should be given up. And for the welfare of the village, the interest of the society should be given up. And for the welfare of the state, the interest of the village, and like that goes on till it comes to the world, where even the interest of the country should be given up if it requires to save the world. Similarly, here we are talking about the person who is a Chakravarti Samrat in one sense. Hastinapur was the center or the center power of the entire world. And this particular pain of Duryodhan is causing havoc. So it is worth giving up this one person to save the entire world. So that is the whole background of it. There is no personal thing that Vidura had some enmity with Dhritarashtra, like, how come you have a son, I don't have a son, so better you give up the son. It was not like that. It is for the interest of the better world, it was advised to give up Duryodhana. Now we see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada picks up a very beautiful point. He picks up a beautiful point that a duty of a son, Srila Prabhupada writes very beautifully, the duty of a son to save the father from falling, specifically after the death, right? And that is where the son does the Shraddha ceremony, offers the pinda to Vishnu, which is being offered ultimately to the forefathers. Because it is Mahaprasad of Vishnu, that's how they will get delivered. So the duty of a son, as we see here, is to protect the father in one sense from falling. So when I was reading this, the very first thing that came to my mind is about Lord Ramachandra. Isn't it what an amazing episode that happens in Ramayana, where Dashrath Maharaj was almost falling while living, right? In those days, not to keep up your promise is as good as you are fallen. And Ramachandra coming to save Dashrath Maharaj from falling. And he said, Father, don't worry, I will make sure that your promise is fulfilled. I'll go to forest for 14 years, not a problem at all. And if I don't become a king, I have no issue. That is a duty of a son. Second thing came to my mind is Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Prahlad Maharaj had a demoniac father. The father wanting to kill the son. Actually, this should have happened, it should be reversed, right? Dhritarashtra should have behaved like Hiranyakashipu. And understanding that here Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad Maharaj for what? He's a devotee of Krishna, that's why he wanted to kill. And here it is advised by the great soul like Vidura that he's a non-devotee and he's a snake. You should kill him because such an envious snake who's going to destroy your entire dynasty. So Dhritarashtra should have some role exchange with Hiranyakashipu in terms of the action that has to be performed of killing the son. Right? But unfortunately it did not happen. But in the case of Prahlad Maharaj, we see after Nrsimhadev appeared, what happened? Mr. Hiranyakashipu was put to rest. And after that, Nrsimhadev is asking Prahlad Maharaj that please ask for a boon. And beautifully Prahlad Maharaj says, if I ask anything from you, my Lord, it's like a business. So there is so much to learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. It's so amazing, right? Prahlad Maharaj says, you have come and you have protected me, right? And I've got your darshan. Now you are asking me to ask for a boon because I prayed for you. It's a business. But that business, we do it all the time. We are going to the Lord and asking so many things from Him. But here Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us, but we cannot imitate. We have to follow in the footsteps. So eventually we have to pray to Krishna that I'm praying for all these material things in my life, right? But one day, oh my Lord, give me a desire so that I will pray for you for the spiritual things. And I will pray for your seva. I'll pray for your satisfaction rather than my own satisfaction. We cannot become Prahlad Maharaj immediately, right? It may take lifetime after lifetime, but it is worth praying like that once in a while, if not every day, right? Isn't it? We should pray like that, oh my Lord, I want to love you. I want to please you. I want to serve you, my Lord. Please help me. How can I do that? And then Prahlad Maharaj, what did he, when Nrsimhadev was forcing so much, Prahlad Maharaj says, okay, if you so desire, my Lord, please liberate my father. Please give moksha to my father. Can you imagine the level of compassion of Prahlad Maharaj? The person who was ready to kill him, for him, he is asking for liberation, moksha. And what did Nrsimhadev said? 21 generation, 10 above and 10 ahead and 10 previous, all the generation will be liberated. So you can see the benefit of becoming a devotee. Just by performing Shraddha, you are doing some good. But by becoming a devotee of Krishna, you are doing the ultimate good for your father and your forefathers. That is the wonderful thing that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And we see in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Lord Chaitanya himself went to Gaya and performed a Shraddha ceremony for his father. In this regard, there was a Mughal king, Shahjahan. Actually, he tells his son Aurangzeb while he has put him into the prison, saying that कुछ ये लोगों से तो सीखो, ये सनातनियों से कुछ तो सीखो. वो उनके मरे हुए फादर को भी खाना पीना देते हैं, एंड आप अपने जिंदा बाप को भी पानी तक नहीं देते हो. Right? So much of We have to learn from our own inheritance that we have got as our Vedic civilization. And we should be so grateful to Srila Prabhupada, who has given us. And I was discussing with someone, and that person said amazing thing, that Srila Prabhupada's purport will come to the rescue at the darkest time of the world. And we will see right now it is nothing that dark. But because these books of Srila Prabhupada will stay for 10,000 years. 10,000 years. We right now feel suffocated in this world, the way the world politics is going on. So what to speak, what will happen after 5,000 years from now? At that time, this book will still be there. And by reading this purport of Srila Prabhupada, people will find the ray of hope in the darkest time. It is 100% guaranteed. Now, as we see, Duryodhana is being mentioned here. So let's discuss a little bit about Duryodhan. Who is Duryodhan? Duryodhan was born to whom? Duryodhan was born because of the union of envy and anger. Dhritarashtra was also envy personified. Right from his days of young days, he knew that he cannot become the king even though he is the right heir. He is the eldest son. Still he cannot become king because he is blind. And he was so envious that yena kena prakarena, he wanted that. And we all know that when Gandhari got the news that Yudhishthira is already born, so there is no even chance of further having a Rajamata or Rajapita, because Duryodhan cannot become the king. The eldest son is going to be Yudhishthira Maharaj. So she became so angry that she started beating her own womb, that why this womb did not give birth. So there is so much of anger. So you see this Duryodhan is born through the union of envy and anger. There is so much of envy in Duryodhan. So much of anger in Duryodhan. So we see from the childhood itself, Duryodhan was so envious of Pandavas and especially of Bhima, that we'll discuss further as well, because they were into the same category of fighting. So he became so envious of Bhima that he wanted to poison him and kill him. Can you imagine a young child? You see the fight between the children, right? But we do not see the fight that extreme that the child thinks that I want to kill this person. That much envy Duryodhana had, and he maintained that envy, or rather go on increasing his envy like anything. After that, he wanted to burn them alive in Lakshagra. Burn them alive. That also Pandavas survived. And then, when the times came that there is nothing can be done, now the kingdom has to be divided at least. So they kept the best part of the kingdom and gave the complete barren part of the land to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Just because Yudhishthira Maharaj is so virtuous, so dharmic, so religious, and so much devoted, that barren land turned into a heaven, Indraprasth. Right? And then Duryodhan once goes there and sees that opulence, and again he becomes so envious that he really wanted to get something, and that's the nature of the envy. It will attract all the help that you need to fulfill your envy. And that's how he attracted Shakuni. And Shakuni also had the ill motives. And they plotted a plan to have a gambling match. Now you see that how envy can take such an obnoxious and a heinous form. In that gambling match, Duryodhana kept on winning because he had that Shakuni on his side and he knew how to manipulate the things. And Duryodhana started winning, and then finally the thing came where he asked for Draupadi to be put on the bet. And for whatever reason, Pandavas did. And then when he won Draupadi, he wanted to disrobe Draupadi. This is not the act of lust. This was the act of obnoxious envy. Because he wanted to show Pandavas that everything is mine, what you had, and see what I can do with it. That is why he wanted to disrobe Draupadi, not because he was lusty. So you can imagine what a ghastly form of envy can take. And after all these things done, second time, and of course, when Draupadi's disrobing is happening, Krishna came to her rescue. And all these things almost done, that time, all these kingdoms in the ancient time, they used to have a Agnihotra. And that fire keeps alive all the time. But when this particular episode happened, that fire was extinguished. And Vidura told Dhritarashtra that it is enough. You see this inauspicious sign of Agnihotra is shutting down? And Dhritarashtra came to his senses and says, enough is enough. He begged forgiveness from Draupadi and says, what do you want? And of course, she says, just give my husband and their weapons. That's it. We don't need anything else. He wanted to give her the kingdom also. He said, no, we'll figure it out how to. As long as my husband and their weapons are there, rest will be taken care. After that also, Duryodhana is not learning. Again, he said, I want to have the entire kingdom. Again, he invites them for the gambling match, and they were sent to the Agyatavas and in the forest and everything else. So we'll just fast forward a bit in interest of time. And then all these things happen, and then finally they successfully cleared the Agyatavas also. Now it's time to give them their kingdom back. Still they were not ready. So finally they sent Krishna. The Pandavas sent Krishna, or Krishna himself said, okay, I will go as a peace messenger. Now let's say there is a treaty happening between two countries, right? So they send foreign minister or somebody like that. But can you imagine if a prime minister himself go for such a treaty? That means how important that particular act is. Now Krishna being the most important person on that planet, he goes for a treaty. That means how important it is. And these people did not care at all about it. And when they heard Krishna is coming, Duryodhana plot a plan saying that what we'll do, we'll try to please Krishna and we'll convince him that nothing doing, this cannot be done. And if he doesn't agree, then we will arrest him. Now Vidura heard this. So when Krishna enters, right, so Duryodhana was ready with all that to please him, right? So he prepares all the grand welcome ceremony and create a big feast for him to have it in Dushasan's home. And Krishna was invited. So Duryodhan goes and invites Krishna that please come for prasad, or I don't know whether it's called the prasad, or they come for a food. We have a feast for you. So Krishna says amazing thing. Krishna says somebody takes prasad at someone's place in only two circumstances. One, either a person is hungry, and second, there is some intimacy between two parties. I don't have any of these things. Neither I am hungry and I don't have any intimacy for you. So I cannot take prasad at your place. I am going to place of Vidura. And the next day, Krishna was supposed to come to the assembly and make a proposal of peace. And of course, Krishna comes, he uses all the Sam, Dam, Danda, Bheda, all kind of nitis Krishna uses. And when Vidura asked Krishna that, do you know that Duryodhana is such an envious and heinous person, do you think he will agree to your proposal? He said, I know he's not going to agree, but I wanted to make sure that in future, nobody blames Pandava that they were hungry for war. I just wanted to make sure that my devotees are not blamed. And that's the reason I have come here, Vidura. So you can see the love of Krishna for his devotees unparalleled. It's unparalleled. And then he tries all these things, and finally, that famous statement, right, when nothing worked, right, Krishna actually tried to even use a danda, saying that, do you know the strength of Arjuna, the strength of Bhima and everything? They will crush you all. Threaten them literally. They try to, use a psalm of, niti. Is you are one family, everything is one, they are going to work together. Arjuna and Bhima will be in your, whole kingdom. Nobody can dare to attack you. It will be really nice for you. Nothing worked. Finally, he said, Dam, give something. So Krishna said, okay, just give 5 villages. Because they are Kshatriyas, they need to rule. Just give 5 villages. He says, nothing. I will not give them even a land enough to hold a tip of a pin. And that's it. That was the end of it. And after that, immediately, even at that time, just see the nature of the envy. So many people in that assembly were nodding their head that what Krishna is saying makes sense. And Duryodhana was the only person who was not ready to listen. Dhritarashtra also said that I agree what you are saying, Krishna, but my son doesn't listen to me. What do I do? You rather speak to him. And then all these things happening, and suddenly Duryodhana says, let's bind Krishna, let's arrest him. And while he was trying to do that, of course, Krishna showed his Virata form. And then Krishna leaves the next day after that. So we see here that Duryodhana is an envy personified. So many a times we read all this Mahabharata, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana and all those things, right? And every time we feel that kuch naya hona chahiye, everything. I think somebody was doing the Samkirtan and one person came and says, you guys only have one song because, he has no understanding. It's happening in the foreign country, right? So they have no idea. They feel that Hare Krishna is a song, right? So you guys don't have any new songs. You just keep on singing the same song. You don't have a new song. So what we do is we try to find new thing in whatever we do, right? That's why you see the fashion keep changing every now and then. Of course, we come back to the same circle eventually. But we try to find something new, right? So similarly, even in the spiritual life, even while reading Srimad Bhagavatam or other things, kuch naya nahi dikh raha hai, I want something new. So when I was thinking about that, something struck me. Rather than finding something new, try to find new in the existing things. Try to find the newness in the existing thing. And who taught us that? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us that. He used to ask Gadadhar Pandit to read Srimad Bhagavatam and specifically all these pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj for hundreds and hundreds of times. The same pastime again and again. How a person can hear it again and again hundreds and hundreds of times? It's not possible. Unless until one person may feel that it's a ritual and if I perform this ritual, I'll gain something else. It's not that the people are interested in Satyanarayan Puja or other things. People turn, twist, all these things happens and looking at the watch, Maharaj, kabhi khatam hoga puja kyun kar raha hu main? Kuch milega mujhe isme se. So his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not trying to say it's a ritual and I have to hear hundreds of times. Every time he was hearing, he was finding newer and newer rasa in it. So similarly, if we also hear Srimad Bhagavatam with that same enthusiasm and same intensity, we will find newer and newer things in the same existing things. That is, and many devotees have shared, they have read Bhagavad Gita hundreds of times and they said, each time I have read Bhagavad Gita, I could find deeper and deeper jewels. That is what the spiritual knowledge is all about. Right? So now, we see this Duryodhana, we'll feel, okay, Duryodhana is like that, of course, but I am not like that. We have to learn the lessons from Duryodhana, right? That's what we say. 5 lessons to learn from Duryodhana and things like that. So we all have heard this wonderful narration that demons like Duryodhan, initially in the Satyuga, used to live in the different planets, right? When it came Dwapar Yuga, it started to living into the distance started becoming shorter and shorter, different countries. And then in the Dwapar Yuga, they were in the same families. Now we are in Kali Yuga, isn't it? Kali Yuga, the demons are living in the same person. Duryodhan is living within us. We don't have to find Duryodhan outside. We ourselves are having Duryodhan within us. So how do we deal with this Duryodhan within us? That is to be discussed. First of all, why this Duryodhana was born in our heart? Somebody said nowadays don't say that this all these anarthas in the heart because there is something called heart transplant. So you say that these anarthas are in your bone marrow, which cannot be replaced, So it is so much ingrained. In nutshell, it is so much of ingrained. It's all pervading. How Krishna is all pervading, like these anarthas are all pervading in our body. Right, in our consciousness rather. So, we need to learn why this Duryodhana envy was born. The envy was born because we wanted to enjoy independently. That is the root cause of envy. See, we all want to enjoy, right? We all want to serve, we all know. But who do we serve? If we serve ourselves, then 6 things will definitely follow us. Lust, anger, pride, envy, illusion, and hate. All these things will follow us. All these 6 anarthas will come. But when you do the same thing of service, not for yourself and for Krishna, you will get 5 rasas. Santya, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya. So, I'll give one analogy. It's a very beautiful, some devotee explained very beautifully. He said the same source which made Titanic to float, the same source which made Titanic to float, the same source in a different form made Titanic to sink and get destroyed completely. How the icebergs are formed? Through water, same, but a different form. And this Titanic hit the iceberg and that's it. That was the end of Titanic. So, serving ourselves is like having this rock solid icebergs, which will make our Titanic sink. But if we have the service towards Krishna, then it will be like that water and it will help our Titanic to float. So we have to decide what we want to do. So that's the root cause of envy. Now what is the result of the envy? It comes in 6th canto, very beautiful episode of Chitraketu Maharaj. What makes envy, or what are the results that we get of envy, is we become hard-hearted. And second thing is we do not appreciate others and we become all the way cruel. How that? Because you see in the episode of Chitraketu Maharaj, all the wives of Chitraketu Maharaj and Chitraketu Maharaj himself were living very peacefully. Everything was going fantastic until the son was born to Kritadyuti. And somehow she became the favorite wife of Maharaj Chitraketu, and others felt neglected and they became envious of Kritadyuti. And what was the cause of their envy? Is the child. So उन्होंने क्या सोचा, न रहेगा बास न बजेगी बांसुरी. So rather than killing the Kritadyuti, they killed the child. Can you imagine? So for a woman to kill a child is impossible. But see, the envy can make you so hard-hearted, and also become not appreciative at all, that finally we have got a son. Let's appreciate it, let's celebrate it. And it leads to such a cruelty that they kill the child. They kill the child. So that is what happens. And similarly, in our devotee community also, as we are called right now, we are the Prakrutis. So in one sense, we are all wives of Krishna. Right? And Krishna may choose somebody as a Kritadyuti and give the birth of a child as a success and fame and a glory to a particular devotee. And how do we reciprocate with that is what is going to determine our future. If you also become envious, that's it. And that do happen. Don't think that it doesn't happen. It does happen, unless until we guard against this demoniac mentality of envy. Second thing happens is your intelligence is completely destroyed. It's like a dust storm. It's a sandstorm. When it comes, can you see anything when the sandstorm comes? You cannot see anything. If somebody says that, oh, you know, this devotee has distributed this many books, so what? This devotee was not singing very nice, but you know, he learned something and now he's singing very beautiful, is very melodious. So what? Have you heard this term called so what? Have you heard it? Whenever you hear this, or if you yourself is trying that, please understand and mark it, that is a sign of an envy. Because we are not appreciating. We are just trivializing. If somebody has done something, we just say, so what? So what? That's the problem. So these are the results that we get out of envy. What is the characteristics of envy? The characteristics of envy is we will be okay to praise our inferior people. If your subordinate is there and if he does something good, wah beta wah, good job, bahut acha, well done, keep up. But if your equal does something equal to you, then you somehow or other tolerate. But if somebody surpasses you, that's it. You cannot tolerate anymore. You cannot tolerate. And that happens when it is happening in the same field. When one preacher becomes a better preacher than the others, then that preacher says, वो ना ऐसे ही बाहर का बोलते हो, शास्त्र में से कुछ बोलता नहीं है, वो अपना ही कुछ लगाता है. That's a sign of envy. But somebody becomes a better cook, a preacher says, no problem, very nice, nice feast. But that preacher goes and says to the other person, saying, the very nice class, very beautiful point. That is a sign of a humility. Right? A book distribution is not going to compete with or becoming envious of a preacher or vice versa. Right? So that is where we have to guard our envy. What is another characteristics of envy? That they don't train others because they know they will surpass you. And they also do not show their dependence on others. These are the characteristics of envy. Now, how do you deal with this envy? So there is a beautiful episode comes of Prithu Maharaj. He was doing the 100th sacrifice, Aswamedha Yagya, and Indra becomes insecure and become envious of it. Right? And then he came to steal the horse and all these things happened. And finally what happened? Vishnu has to come and made a treaty between them. Like, he had to intervene. And that is what is important when envy is happening. So somebody is there to help them adjust their envy. So here Vishnu came to adjust their envy. In our case, we have to take shelter of the senior devotees to help us mediate and adjust our envy. Right? Second thing one has to do is try and learn more about how this envy is affecting us. Read from the Shastras the ill effects of envy, and that's how we sharpen our intelligence and understand that envy is disastrous. We see in the case of Duryodhana, he himself did not die, but he actually made his all 99 brothers die, and the entire dynasty died because of him. Right? So, read from Shastras. Third thing, a very important but very difficult. Glorify that person whom we are envious of. Do service for that person whom we are envious of. And finally, we see that in Kaliya Daman Leela, Krishna danced on the hoods of Kaliya, and finally what happened? The poison came out. There is nothing but all the envy came out. And that's where he could understand who Krishna is. The Nagapatnis were telling him who Krishna is, but he was not able to understand because the poison was within. But when the poison went out of his body, he was able to understand who Krishna is. Similarly, if we go on chanting Hare Krishna on our tongue, let Krishna dance on our tongue in the form of holy names, then all the poison will go away. And eventually we'll be able to understand and appreciate and love Krishna. So sometimes we feel that all these anarthas are very, very difficult to overcome. Right? And we feel that, oh my God, this is terrible, all these anarthas. But what is the most terrible thing? The most terrible thing is our unwillingness to accept that Krishna loves me. Please mind it. This Chaitanya Charan Prabhu said, very beautiful thing. What is terrible? Not lust, anger, envy, and all those things. What is most terrible is our unwillingness to believe that Krishna loves me. And when you have that particular faith, then all these things that you want to get rid of looks like mission impossible. But when you believe that Krishna loves me, then this mission of Krishna consciousness will become unstoppable. Will become unstoppable. Today being the auspicious day of Virabhadra Gosai's appearance day, I'll quickly narrate in 2-3 minutes. We are running out of time. So, Virabhadra Gosai was the son of Nityananda Prabhu, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very beautifully explains in Adi Leela, 11th chapter, from verse number 8 onwards, very beautifully explains that how this Lord Chaitanya's tree is a tree of love of Godhead. And Nityananda Prabhu is the highest branch or the topmost branch, and Virabhadra Prabhu or the Virabhadra Gosai is the topmost or the greatest branch of that top branch. And then we see how all this love of Godhead is being spread all over the world. Right? So, Virabhadra Gosai was born to Nityananda Prabhu and Vasudha Devi. He took initiation from Janva Devi. And he was the incarnation of Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. And he was resembling so much of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is said that he is non-different than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So once he went to Kantaka village, everyone felt that Lord Chaitanya himself had come. And everybody started chanting, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. And he said, I am not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am the son of Nityananda Prabhu. And nobody was ready to believe. And then finally they looked up to the sky and saying, Lord Chaitanya, we know that you have departed, but please resolve this dilemma. And Lord Chaitanya personally appeared to clear the dilemma of the devotees. See the magnanimity of Virabhadra Gosai. And then once he goes to Shikhanda where Raghunandan Thakur arranged a big festival. And it is said that Virabhadra Gosai was dancing so beautifully and so enchanting, and he was looking so beautiful, as it is mentioned, right? He was as beautiful as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that whoever looked at him got love of Godhead and all their miseries vanished. And while Virabhadra Gosai was dancing in Shrikhanda, that time one blind person was there and says, what is happening? And somebody described the beauty of Virabhadra Gosai, and how he was dancing was described to this blind person. And then blind person, just hearing that beauty, he got so mesmerized. But at the same time, he became so sad and started praying to Lord Chaitanya, saying that, please, please, I want to see this personality. Just for some time, give me the vision. And Virabhadra Gosai could understand that this is the dilemma of this blind person. And looking at this, his intensity, Virabhadra Gosai awarded him the vision. And he could see, and in front of all the devotees, they could see this blind person got the vision. That's the magnanimity of Virabhadra Gosai. And in his lifetime, he installed multiple deities as well. And it is said, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, that this world today knows about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda is because of Virabhadra Gosai. So can you imagine, we should be so grateful to Virabhadra Gosai that because of him, we have been awarded these wonderful, wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, and we are able to chant their glories. So before writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers his obeisances and praise to Virabhadra Gosai for the blessing so that he can write Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is the wonderful glory of Virabhadra Gosai. Of course, I could not do the justice because of the time, but there are many more pastimes of Virabhadra Gosai. Virabhadra Gosai ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nita Gaur Premanandi. Sorry, we will not take questions because we are already over time. Thank you. Hare Krishna.